Today on Clubhouse Gas, friend of the show, Coach Turtle Thomas, head coach at Florida International University, is here to talk with us about setting the hands, how to set, trigger, and explode through the ball. So stay tuned to another great edition of Clubhouse Gas.
You know, in hitting, at the point of release, right as that ball comes out of the hitter's or the pitcher's hand, there's really three things that we're trying to do. Number one, we're taking that short, soft, straight ahead stride. Number two, we're loading up about 70% of our body weight to our back foot. The third thing that you want to do as you stride is you want to trigger your hands or take your hands back from, say, the handle, maybe a couple of, just slightly inside that back shoulder to slightly behind your back shoulder. A little bit of a trigger. Now what does that do? Well, it overcomes inertia. I don't want to start my swing with a dead still bat, dead still hands, generating no bat speed. See, remember, genes and chromosomes, good pivot, good trigger with your hands are the three main things that help you develop bat speed as a hitter. That's what we're looking for all the time. Good mechanics, good bat speed, using the hands to hit with. You got something going when that happens right there. But the trigger of the bat overcomes inertia. An object will remain at rest, the bat, until acted upon by an outside source. That's the muscles in your hands and arms as you trigger the bat 3 or 4 inches straight back at the catcher umpire. Now, when you trigger, good point. I always want to do it with the top hand. See, when I trigger with the bottom hand, that is what wraps that bat around my head and lengthens out or bars out that front arm, making your bat in the length of your swing too long before contact. When you trigger your hands, it's always done with the hands, not the shoulders, and it's always done with the top hand. So a good trigger drill, hand open, bottom hand, top hand, trigger. You don't wrap the bat, don't use your body to trigger with, straight back, 3 or 4 inches straight back. Every time, anytime you see a guy wrap the bat, is because the bottom arm is doing the majority of the triggering 3 or 4 inches back, overcoming inertia, getting the bat speed started. Here's a good one. Let's say I'm a right-handed batter, and so I'm going to get down on my right knee. All right, I'm going to put my hands together like I'm holding the bat. And I'm going to hold my hands even with my front, not my back shoulder, my front shoulder, shoulder level, one hand's length from my front shoulder. Trigger. Back. Smooth and fluid, straight back, right under my chin, right to my back shoulder. Trigger. Back. Trigger. Then do it right under your chin. Trigger. Back. Only your hands move, not your shoulders. Then you start your normal position, trigger, back. Now see, the other bad thing that happens when guys incorrectly trigger, that back elbow flies up. That not only tilts the barrel of the bat back toward the pitcher, making your swing longer and loopier, and what it does, it adds extra inches to the length of your swing before you make contact with the baseball. Back elbow should stay down at a 45-degree angle to the ground as I trigger with my hands straight back. Now, here's another one. How about this one? Put my hands together, straight up. All right, elbows down. And all you do in your stance, you're up here, and you're going to trigger. Back. Front hand pushes the back hand back. Trigger. Back. Trigger. Back. We even like to do this, karate chops. Why? Because I think you feel the trigger better with karate chops versus, gripping the bat or making 2 fists. Trigger. Back. Trigger. Do this. You've got this tape, and I'm going to stand about 5 inches from the tape, making sure I don't take my hands away from my body or my hands back this way, diagonally behind me. So what I'm going to do as I trigger is look right down through my hands down to the tape. And as I take my hands back 3 or 4 inches, I want to take my hands straight back, right down the tape exactly right there. And here's a great one. I'm telling you, this is a little known fact about hitting. There are 2 or 3 guys on every baseball team in America that when they set up in their stance, their back elbow is like way back toward the end of the third base dugout behind them, right back here. Now what happens to clear their hands and arms of their body, they got to swing out like this and then back like this. They have a horizontal V in their swing because their back elbow is way back here too far. Everybody's got a little bit behind them, but not extremely behind them, because that creates that, as I say, horizontal V in your swing. Now, how do you break that habit? Well, think about this. Let's say I've got a pole right here, like the pole, the edge of the batting cage. What I'm going to do is put my back foot halfway, right in the instep, so to speak, the backside of the instep, right against the pole. And I'm going to put my tricep on the other side of the pole. And as I go to swing, it doesn't allow me to do this because I bump right into that pole. So I'm sliding the back tricep right against the outside of that pole, keeping my arms in the slot so I can take my bat straight ahead. So many people do that, it's amazing, where they start with that back elbow way back toward the back edge of that dugout right there. So there's a few things about the trigger with your hands, taking your bat back 3 or 4 inches as you go to swing the bat.